gaslighting is a term, watch this, where the person makes you question your own reality. For instance, they maybe have told you, hey, I told you, go to the bank this morning and deposit this amount of money or withdraw $500. And you come back and you took the money out of the bank and they check the bank account and they say, did you take money out of the bank? You say, yeah, you told me to. They said, no, I didn't tell you to do that. You took the money. I didn't tell you. You said, yes, you did. And what they make you believe, they make you begin to question your own reality. All right. And another thing about them, they're not really loyal to you. All right. And they don't listen. They don't listen. And so when you find out, when I teach you how they actually became that way, it's going to make sense to you, because a good parent can raise a narcissistic child by the things that they're doing. And I'm going to break that down in a second. And I think the last thing is, when I think about a narcissist, they get pleasure out of the misery of other people. They get pleasure out of the misery of others. And so when you think about these characteristics, now somebody you know might have 1, 2, they might even have, 3 of them, but they don't have all of them. And so I would say to you, that person might exhibit some of the narcissistic traits, but it doesn't mean that they're narcissistic. All right. They may be controlling. One of the things I didn't say on here is that a narcissist is controlling, is very controlling. All right. So let's talk about either, do you guys want to talk about, because I thought about, where do they come from? How is a narcissist made? How is it made? All right. I know someone that I can give you an example for all of them. I believe you can. So what I want you to understand is, narcissism normally comes, you know how a lot of stuff you can track back to when we were children? Narcissism is a byproduct of parenting. All right. Now you might say, huh? Let me explain it to you. Because during the process of conditioning a child to act a certain way, believe a certain way, do a certain thing, its roots are it comes from when they were a child. And let me explain to you why. Because the parents, y'all listen to me carefully. It becomes overindulgence and underindulgence. See, what happens, it's a combination of both of them that creates the narcissist child. And what do I mean by that? The narcissist child, overindulgence. Here's what I mean by overindulgence. You're constantly giving them praise for achievements. You're constantly telling the child how great they are. You're constantly telling the child that you're better than everybody else. You're constantly telling the child that you're focusing on, this person, the child being out front, and you're telling the whole world, hey, my boy Johnny, he's smarter than everybody in his class, and nothing necessarily wrong with that. Here's the problem. Is when you couple that with underindulgence, it sets the stage for the narcissist. Now, you focus on, we got the bigger house. We got the better vacation. We got this. We got the best this and the best that. And you condition the child to that reality now in their minds, because so it becomes real in their minds. But that's not what creates the narcissist. That's not. What creates the narcissist is the overindulgence, telling them about, overinflating their achievements, telling them, overinflating, we're the best, you're the best, their grandiose lifestyle mixed with underindulging. All right. So when you're around people and little Johnny's playing football, he's running touchdowns, and you taking pictures and the videos and you putting them up on Instagram because you got to let everybody know what your little Johnny is doing. But then you bring little Johnny home. And little Johnny says, okay, you've told him all of these things, but you bring little Johnny home and little Johnny wants to play a board game with you. Just you and him. Just you and little Johnny. He just wants to spend time with his parents, and you don't have time for that. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that because now that's too small for you. And so now little Johnny doesn't have any outlets for their feelings because you don't really want to listen to little Johnny because you might not be present. You might be working, but you're all about telling little Johnny how great they are. But then you're not listening to little Johnny. So little Johnny doesn't know how to navigate his emotions. He just knows that the parent has always saying, you're great, you're great, you're great. So then you have a child that wants to live up to that. But then the child is emotionally deficient because you don't spend any time with them. You don't spend any time with them. You don't listen to them. Johnny wants to express their feelings. It's nothing. And so what happens is now this child grows up and wants to be validated because there is an emptiness inside. And so many true narcissists have insecurity. It's based in insecurity, and it's also based in the lack of validation. That is the reason why many of them are hypersensitive, because the lack of validation, the lack of being told you're great, the lack of the parent listening. So you got the overindulgence, and then you got the underindulgence that sets the perfect environment for the narcissist to be born. Do you understand what's happening? And so now this is my son and his father. Oh my goodness. Hey, can you get it? I'm gonna drop the link right here. Denise, would you mind coming on? Anybody want to come on, ask any questions? I know the subject matter is deep tonight. But if anybody, I just dropped the link in. If anybody wants to come on with the doctor tonight and let's talk about it. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you got a question, you want to come on and ask me, hey, what should I do? How should I handle this? I'm going to tell you this. And I want you to know this. Children learn narcissism by watching parents' behavior. See, it's a learned behavior. So when I see my parents acting entitled, I'm adopting that because, again, what am I trying to do? Get validation from them. So I'm going to act in a manner that is consistent to what I see. All right. And so that's the part I want to tell you. Now, here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to say. I want to say this. Many of you might be in a relationship with one. You might be in a relationship with a narcissist. And you honestly don't know how to deal with it. Because most of them, it's born in insecurity. And most of them don't believe there's anything wrong with them. The only time, the only time a narcissist starts to look at themselves most time is when things are going wrong at the job, or their kids are not speaking to them, and then they're forced to look at themselves. And because they're forced to look at themselves, then they might say, and so listen, so this is the difference between a true narcissist and the narcissistic personality disorder. The difference is, and I wrote this down, I was thinking about it. Here's the difference. A true narcissist, doesn't think there's anything wrong with them. They don't think there's anything wrong with their behavior. They don't think there's anything wrong with what they're doing. Okay? Now, but a person who has a narcissistic personality disorder, and I wrote it down, here's what they say clinically. They say they have social and occupational impairment. All right? All right. In other words, they're messing up their life and they realize it. And that's the reality. That's the difference, because the other person, and people think that narcissism is a diagnosis, but it's not. It's a trait. Now, the disorder is a diagnosis, but the true narcissist is not a diagnosis. And one of the doctors that I studied under one time said, at the end of the day, he says, is there a diagnosis for being a jerk? No, and so what happens is that's not, they call it a trait and not a diagnosis. And so if you're in a relationship with them and with a person like this, and a lot of people, first off, if you in a relationship with a person like this, because they're very charming many times at first, many times, and this is the key, y'all, this is how you know it. They're very charming at first. You meet a guy, and all of a sudden, the guy is like, he's super duper charming. And then all of a sudden you see something where he might outburst, or he might try to do what they call negging. He starts putting you down, and just to putting you down just a little bit. That makeup doesn't look good. I don't know why you make makeup, you look old. Or I don't know why you do this, just a little bit. All right. And so what it is now you begin to want validation from this person. Because remember, they started out quite charming, and then they flip. Once they got you emotionally engaged, then they flipped the script on you. All right. Then they flipped the script on you. Then all of a sudden they almost became abusive sometimes. So when, think about it like this, y'all. When you meet somebody and they treat you good, then they become abusive. And then all of a sudden you develop a trauma bond with them because you want to please the abuser. And y'all, it is subtle. It is insidious, because a true narcissist will hollow you out. They will take every part of you and leave you. So when you encounter one, if you are not so deep into the relationship, so enthralled in the relationship, I tell people, listen, leave if you can. Now, some people can't leave because they got children. They might say, Ken, I've been in it 25 years. I don't know what to do. Well, I got something for you too. And so you really need to be trained on how to handle them. But there is an acronym that I want you to write down. It's called the DEEP acronym. DEEP. This acronym simply means this. When you're dealing with the narcissist, you don't defend, okay? You don't engage. You don't explain. And you don't personalize. Allow me to explain these. You don't defend. Okay? You don't engage, you don't explain, and you don't personalize. So what do I mean by defend? Here's what I mean by defend. Number one, if the person says to you, I told you not to get the money out of the bank, and you say, yes, you did. Because if you go back and forth with them, they want that. They love that. Now, what you say is, okay, is that what you said? I'm not going to defend myself. Or, okay, no problem. And so when you deal with them, they don't like that. When you're like, okay, whatever you say. And because they like the back and forth, it fuels them, the energy. And so when you're dealing with one, what you want to do is you want to avoid that. The second thing is, don't explain yourself. Don't explain what you did. They say, well, what did you do? Or when they start telling you things and you begin explaining why I did this, I had to do this. And they're like, and then they will take that. They will turn it and twist it, because what a true narcissist does is take your vulnerability and turn it and use it and weaponize it against you. That is why the worst relationship in the world is a true narcissist with an empath. If you're with the person who has all of these emotions and feelings, and the narcissist, what they want to do is dig and take those emotions and use it against you. And so the best thing you can do is, I ain't going to explain it. All right. It is what it is. I'm going to keep it short, and it is what it is. All right. And then the next thing is, don't engage. Don't engage in a back and forth. Don't engage in a tick for tack. Or we doing this and we doing that. Don't do that, because they get that fuse them. Yo, best thing you can do is keep it short. Boom, I'm out. Okay. And the last thing is, don't personalize it. Don't say, you're a narcissist. That's the worst thing you can do. You're a narcissist. Because what they're going to do, that's when they're going to go in. They're going to go in, and it's going to get escalate. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And what's going to happen is you are going to be the one who gets part of your core, your being, your soul is going to be ripped out dealing with these fools. And so I've been studying them for years now and studying how they work. And what I will say to you is this, and I ain't going to stay on long tonight, but I will say to you this. If you're in a relationship and you think the person is a narcissist, please seek help. Please seek help. And so that you can get some advice of people, because you know what they make you do? they make you question your own reality. They make you question your own thoughts. They make you feel like this is how you know that you're in a bad situation. It's going almost toxic when you feel like you got to record the conversation. Because you're saying, I know that the person said this. I know they said it. I'm like, I ain't crazy. All right. And so when you get in a situation like that, it's time to look at getting help or getting out. All right. Because there are coping mechanisms. Listen, there are things you can do, but you got to get with somebody that actually knows how to deal with this. And really a therapist who's dealt with narcissists, who actually handled it, who deals with narcissists, then those are the type of persons that you need. All right. Listen. I ain't gonna stay on long. I just wanted to give y'all that because people throw around that word all the time. I got to do something, and it looked like nobody wanted to jump on with me anyway. So I wanted to give you that. Go back, revisit this. I didn't give everything in terms of like if you're in a relationship with one and both two narcissists in a relationship. I ain't get into all that. But I wanted to give you information just so that you could understand. That if you're in that type of relationship, what you can do and what to look for. Is that fair? All right, y'all. That's my time. I'm out. Good. Run. Felicia says run. I agree. All right, y'all. Peace. I'll see y'all on the next one. Oh, by the way, I don't even know what I'm thinking about. Ken. Oh, y'all, we almost got 50 people in the challenge. Hold on, I'm writing this down. My challenge, oh man, I almost forgot that. If you, I put it right there. If you want to date and you want to be able to decipher what a narcissist looks like or people who are emotionally unavailable so you can stop picking the wrong guys, you need to join my challenge. Yo, I've been talking about the challenge. It's supposed to start next week. And what I'm telling you is you need to get in. We don't have but a few more spots left. And y'all, if you say that, you know what, I want to be different. I want to date. I want to love again. I'm going to give myself permission to trust again. I just need to know how to get coached. I've helped a lot of people get in relationships, y'all, and I'm damn good at it. I'm the best in the business, the truth is. But you got to make the first step. You got to make the first step. And the first step is saying, I surrender. I surrender and I'm going to help me. I'm going to put my own mask on first. I'm going to stop, getting immersed in everybody else's situation only to leave myself out there in the cold. And if that's you, and if you're saying that, go to Ken Canion Challenge. Ken Canion Challenge. Just put the link here, KenCanionChallenge.com. Listen. And sign up for the challenge, y'all. Sign up. That's all. I've been promoting this for like 2 weeks now. I ain't gonna do a whole bunch of more promoting. Those who want to come, come on. Because I want you to grow. Those of you who want to grow. There are some people who ain't gonna never grow though. They're not gonna all they're gonna do is blame somebody else. All right. Other than that, that's my time, y'all. Peace. I'm out.